Charlotte changed without warning. One decision erased a track that once defined playoff chaos. But the real reason it happened says more about NASCAR's future than its past. Why did the Roval finally disappear? On Tuesday, February 3rd, confirmation arrived quietly, but its impact was anything but small. Speedway Motorsports CEO Marcus Smith confirmed that the Charlotte Roval would be removed from the 2026 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. The fall playoff race at Charlotte Motor Speedway will return to the traditional 1.5-mile oval, ending an experiment that once symbolized innovation but gradually became a source of division. The announcement did not come with shock or controversy. Instead, it landed with a sense of inevitability. For years, drivers, teams, and fans had been quietly drifting toward the same conclusion. The Roval era had run its course. When the Roval was first introduced, it represented something bold. NASCAR was testing its willingness to challenge tradition at one of its most important venues. The hybrid layout blended the speed of the oval with the precision of an infield road course, creating an environment that demanded adaptability and punished hesitation. In its early years, the Roval delivered exactly what was promised: unpredictable finishes, playoff drama, moments that felt unscripted and raw. Drivers unfamiliar with the layout made costly mistakes. Veterans struggled to balance aggression with survival. The track produced chaos, and for a time, that chaos felt refreshing. Charlotte Motor Speedway has always carried symbolic weight in NASCAR. It is not just another intermediate track, it is home. Many teams operate just minutes away. Development, testing, and preparation revolve around Charlotte in ways no other track can match. For decades, the Charlotte Oval served as a measuring stick for championship contenders. Moving a playoff race off that oval and onto a road course was never a neutral decision. It was a statement that NASCAR was willing to disrupt its own foundations in pursuit of variety. At first, the novelty masked the drawbacks. Fans accepted confusion because it felt new. Drivers tolerated unpredictability because it felt temporary. Teams adapted because adaptation is what racing demands. But novelty fades, and once it does, structure matters again. Over time, the Roval stopped feeling like a challenge and started feeling like an obstacle. Passing zones tightened. Restarts became crowded. Track position outweighed race pace. Mistakes carried consequences that felt disproportionate to performance. Then the next-gen car arrived, and everything changed. The next-gen car was designed to modernize NASCAR and level competition across the field. It introduced fundamental changes to suspension geometry, aerodynamics, braking, and tire construction. On intermediate ovals, the results were largely positive. Races became more competitive, side-by-side racing increased, drivers could follow more closely, tire fall-off returned as a strategic factor. Many of the criticisms aimed at previous generations began to fade. Road courses told a different story. With the next-gen car, braking zones became more problematic. Wheel hop increased. Mechanical failures linked to curb usage became more common. Contact escalated as cars struggled to slow effectively into tight corners. What once showcased finesse increasingly exposed limitations. The Charlotte Roval amplified these issues because it forced compromise in every setup decision. Teams could not fully optimize for either discipline. The result was racing that felt constrained rather than expressive. Drivers began to voice concerns, sometimes publicly but often behind closed doors. The message was consistent. The Roval no longer rewarded the best cars over the length of a race. Instead, it rewarded survival, timing, and avoidance of chaos. In a playoff environment where margins are already razor-thin, that randomness felt misaligned with the purpose of postseason racing. Fans noticed the shift as well. Early Roval races felt tense and unpredictable in a good way. Later editions felt congested and stop-start. Long green flag stretches became rare. Cautions stacked up. Strategy windows collapsed. For viewers, the races lost rhythm. For competitors, they lost flow. What once felt daring began to feel forced. This was not an overnight realization. NASCAR allowed the Roval experiment time to mature. It evaluated data. It listened to feedback. It watched how the next-gen car performed across different track types. Gradually, a pattern emerged. Intermediate ovals produced better racing. Road courses produced more incidents. The difference was no longer subjective. It was measurable. By the time the 2026 schedule discussions began, the direction was clear. Returning the fall playoff race to the Charlotte Oval was not about nostalgia. It was about alignment. The sport had evolved. The car had evolved. The playoff format demanded consistency rather than spectacle. When Marcus Smith confirmed the change, the response was telling. Drivers welcomed it. Teams embraced it. Fans reacted with approval rather than resistance. That reaction revealed how far sentiment had shifted. The Roval had not failed, but it no longer fit. This decision also signals a broader recalibration in NASCAR's approach to scheduling. Variety still matters. Road courses remain part of the championship. They continue to test drivers in ways ovals cannot. But NASCAR is becoming more selective about where and when that variety is applied. Playoff races carry different expectations. They are meant to reward sustained excellence, not single-corner survival. The Charlotte Oval does exactly that. It tests long-run speed. It rewards tire management. It allows strategy to unfold naturally. Mistakes can be recovered through skill rather than eliminated by circumstance. In the context of the next-gen era, that balance matters more than ever. The return to the Oval does not erase what the Roval accomplished. It expanded the sport's imagination. It proved that NASCAR could take risks without losing its identity. It created moments that will be remembered long after the layout itself is gone. But every chapter has an ending, and knowing when to close one matters as much as knowing when to begin. In 2026, when the fall playoff race returns to the Charlotte Oval, it will feel familiar but not outdated. It will feel earned. The noise will come from engines, not uncertainty. The drama will come from competition, not congestion. Championships will be shaped by performance over distance rather than survival through chaos. NASCAR did not abandon innovation. It refined it. The Roval served its purpose. Now the sport is choosing clarity over confusion and balance over novelty. For many inside the garage and in the stands, that choice feels overdue. Charlotte is back where it belongs, at the center of the playoff picture, not as an experiment, but as a proving ground. The return to the Oval does not erase what the Roval accomplished. It expanded the sport's imagination. It proved that NASCAR could take risks without losing its identity. It created moments that will be remembered long after the layout itself is gone. Late race chaos, unexpected winners, playoff desperation played out on unfamiliar asphalt. Drivers were forced to adapt. Teams were pushed outside their comfort zones. Fans saw a version of stock car racing that felt unpredictable and raw. The Roval challenged habits that had grown comfortable over decades, and in doing so, it reminded the sport that evolution is sometimes necessary to stay alive.